So after learning commutative property, now it's number of associative property. And let's jump straight with the addition of whole numbers, the addition of whole numbers. And for addition of whole numbers to follow associative property, that would mean that is it possible that A plus B, and these are grouped together, and plus C, is it equal to A plus B plus C grouped together? Is it equal to A plus C plus B grouped together? You can see that first you grouped A and B together, then B and C together, and then A and C together. Is it possible for them? So let's check with an example. Take A as 2, B as 3, and C as what? 2, 3, and 4. So what would be the answer? The answer would be 5 plus 4. It would be 9. Now let's do for this one. So 2 plus 3 plus 4, and it would be 2 plus 7 is equal to 9. So here also in the previous one you got 9. Here also you're getting 9. Now let's do for this one. So this would be 2 plus 4 grouped together plus 3, and this would be 6 plus 3, and this would give 9. So you could see that in all the cases you're getting the same answer, and therefore the addition is following the associative property. It's following the associative property. Okay, now let's do for multiplication. Let's do for multiplication. Now for multiplication of whole numbers, and to say that they follow the, if they will follow the associative property, then that means that A multiplied by B multiplied by C would be, and if A and B are grouped together, then should be equal to A multiplied by B multiplied by C. That is A times B multiplied by C, and would be equal to A multiplied by C B times. That is, first you group together A and B, then B and C, and then A and C. You just change the grouping. And is it possible that you are going to get the same answer each and every time when you are grouping the different numbers together? And to check that, take the same numbers, right? So take 2 multiplied by 3 and multiplied by 4. What would you get? You would get 6 multiplied by 4, and therefore the answer you would get is 24. Even in this case, this is 2 and then 3 multiplied by 4, and this would be 2 multiplied by 12, this would be 24. And even in this case, it would be 2 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 3, and it would be 8 multiplied by 3, this would be 24. So you could see that in all the cases you are getting the same answer, and therefore just like addition, the multiplication of whole numbers will follow the associative property, just like addition. Now you would be thinking that, hey, how to apply that? Where would we apply in real life? So for both these two cases, that is for addition and multiplication, to follow the commutative property and the associative property, what they do is they simplify the arithmetic operations. That they simplify the steps taken. So you would say that, how could we see that? So let me explain you with an example. Suppose you are given an example would be 12 multiplied by 35. Okay, 12 multiplied by 35. Now if you are asked to find the answer of this, what you can do is first you will do 2 multiplied by 6. Suppose you write 2 multiplied by 6, because this will be 12 only, and this is 35, right? And this is 35. Now what you would do is you will interchange a position, right? What you're performing is the commutative property. You are performing the commutative property. Okay, so you interchange a position. Here you perform the commutative property, therefore it would become 6 multiplied by 2, right? 6 multiplied by 2 and multiplied by 35. Now here first 6 and 2 are grouped together. Now what you would do is you would group together 2 and 35. Okay, you are performing this associative property. First, when you interchange the order, the position, right? So here you're actually you're using the commutative property of multiplication, right? You use the commutative property of multiplication. And now what you're doing is you're grouping two different numbers. That previously it was 6 and 2 grouped together. Now in this case you're grouping together 2 and 35. And therefore what you would get is 6 multiplied by 70. And therefore it would be 420. Okay, this would be 420. So how this helped? I mean, it would have been tough for you to multiply 12 and 35. Okay, but in this case you could see that just by interchanging their position and then grouping two different numbers, what it gave you is this 70, and now you can easily multiply and get 420. As you'll go in the higher classes, and as you'll go in either in the college courses or in the intermediates or high school, then you would see the importance of these, just interchanging the position, grouping different numbers together, so that you can get your answer as quickly as possible, and it will save your time. Now let's move for subtraction and division. And why don't you just similarly check for the subtraction whether that will follow or not, like if you are given say 3 minus 2 grouped together and then minus 1. Okay, so is it possible that you can write it 3 minus 2 minus 1? Will it be equal to it? So you can check that this will be 1 minus 1 would be equal to 0, but this would be 3 and minus 3 minus 1, and it would be 2. So these two numbers are of course not equal. Okay, so like addition and multiplication were following the associative property, subtraction is not going to follow. It will not follow the associative property of whole numbers. And similarly for division, for division they will not follow the associative property. And you can check it like 2 divided by 3 divided by 4. Is it equal to, and 2 and 3 are grouped together? Or let me take some other example to make it easier. So suppose you have say 8 divided by 4 and divided by 2. 8 and 4 were previously 8 and 4 are grouped together. Now if you group together 4 and 2, are they going to be the same number? So if you divide 8 by 4, first for this one, if you divide 8 by 4, you would get 2 divided by 2, and you would get answer 1. Now let's do for this one. So this is 8 divided by 2, and this would give you 4. So of course these two answers are not answers are not matching, and therefore just like subtraction, division would not follow the associative property of whole numbers. So only addition and multiplication of whole numbers will follow the associative property, just like the commutative property, and subtraction and division would not follow the associative property, just like the commutative property.